Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone, who all learn this truth from and will well. Peace had tasted 144,000, and the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude, unto you I say shalom. Come to you back with another lesson through the Spirit. And the title for this was going to be, the Lord gives his servants the perfect amount, and that perfect amount is going into the amount that Yahweh Shemel Shai provides for you to be able to be stable, either financially, mentally, physically, because each brother has been given his own portion according to the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Because every brother's needs are different than from every other brother. Because Yahweh Shemel Shai may have blessed the brother with a high paying career, making over 6 figures, but that's according to that brother's spirit and what he can handle. Because what every brother can handle financially, mentally, physically, spiritually is all according to the spirit of that brother. And not every brother can handle what one brother can handle, That's why Yahweh Shemel Shai gave each brother his own portion, each portion according to every brother is different. It's not all going to be the same. That's why some brothers may have not gotten, those high-paying careers, making over 6 figures, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. He might have just put you in a situation where you're making just enough for your daily bread. But ultimately, that's what Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to provide. He's going to provide that daily bread. He's going to provide your needs and your necessities for you to be able to do the work, for you to be able to pay your phone bill, pay your internet bill, to do these lessons, do these videos, give you a means of transportation. Either, you may have your own car, or you may have to catch the bus, to get to camp. You might have to catch a ride from a brother. But that's all ultimately Yahweh Shemel Shai doing his will upon the earth, giving each brother his own portion, because you might have to catch the bus to camp, for a certain amount of time. But ultimately, that's to build you up to eventually be able to, have your own means of transportation. Either get a car, or you may have to borrow a car from a brother. Ultimately, it's all Yahweh Shemel Shai's will. This is all teaching patience, because we have to learn patience when we're in this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We can't be desperate like these 2/3 in the world, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, comprised of these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They're into that instant gratification. That's why a lot of these rappers, these celebrities, these actors have pretty much sold out for pennies, for crumbs. But in their minds, they think that because they've got all these millions of dollars, these billions of dollars, the P. Diddy's of the world, the Floyd Mayweathers, the Kendrick Lamars, the Futures, the Drakes, they think that all that money, all that fame, it was a blessing from Yahweh Shemel Shai. In their minds, they think that the Most High and his only begotten Son favors them. But no, ultimately, that was given unto them for a stumbling block, because one thing that they lack is the truth. They lack Yahweh Shemel Shai. So when all hell breaks loose, when the hour of temptation comes, they're gonna go down there and take that MOTB, ultimately, because that's all that they had in this world. They had all these worldly possessions, ultimately given by Satan. It wasn't really given unto them by Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's why they're going to go down to these sea hipping stations and take that charagma without hesitation to get those so-called riches that they had in the world, that so-called fame back. But us and His knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. When we have to walk away from all this, from these jobs, these careers, and sometimes, or we may even have to walk away from our families, we're gonna be able to do it without hesitation, because ultimately we've been preparing for it, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim El Shai. That's why he's putting us through all these different tests, that we have to go through on a daily basis. It's all to build our faith up. That's why Yahweh Bashim El Shai chastises us by putting us through different hell, different trials and tribulations, is all to build us up, teach us patience, to build up our faith. We get this first scripture. This is Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 8. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. So Yahweh Bashim El Shai is going to give His servants, the prophets, His true prophets, neither poverty nor riches. He's gonna give you that perfect balance, just enough for you to be able to do the work. And that perfect balance, that portion of just amount for you to accommodate your needs, shelter, raiment, clothes, food, for you to be able to do the work. That's going to be different according to each brother. But ultimately, Yahweh Bashim El Shai is going to He's going to provide those means for you to be able to sustain yourself, to do the work. And each brother's portion is different. A brother might be able to handle a certain amount of money, but if Yahweh Bashim El Shai was to give you that, then that would be a detriment. That would be a self-destruction for you. That's why Yahweh Bashim El Shai knows how much each brother can handle. That's why every brother's portion is different, through the Spirit. Verse 9, lest I be full and deny thee, and I say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of the Most High in vain. So Yahweh Bashim El Shai is not going to give His true servants, the prophets, millions, billions of dollars, because ultimately all these millionaires, these billionaires, these celebrities, Jakes, of the nation of Israel, they're not thinking about Yahweh Bashim El Shai. They're not thinking of the Most High. They're not thinking about serving Yahweh Bashim El Shai in truth and sincerity. That's why they're not willing to give up these riches to serve Yahweh Bashim El Shai. That's why they're afraid to speak out against this devil Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, because he's gonna take all those riches away, just like he did P. Diddy, just like he did Kanye West. And they're not thinking about Yahweh Bashim El Shai because they already got their consolation on this side. But us, there are in His knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, we know that all those riches, gotten by deceits, they're all cankered. They're gonna be taken away just as quick as they were given, because they weren't attained righteously. They were attained by doing wickedness. Or lest I be poor and steal. So it is the same thing. If Yahweh Bashim El Shai has you out there homeless, you out there homeless with nothing to eat, no shelter, no clothes on your back, you're not going to be thinking about Yahweh Bashim El Shai either, because you're over here completely bugged out, homeless, out of your mind, looking in the trash cans for food to eat. All the homeless people, they're not thinking about Yahweh Bashim El Shai either. If anything, they're out there cursing the Most High because of their situation. That's why Yahweh Bashim El Shai has put in each brother in his situation, according to the spirit of what that brother can handle. This is Philippians chapter 4 and verse 12. I know how to be abased, and I know how to be abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. So for each brother, there's going to be a time where we're going to have to be broke. We're going to have to be, may even have to be homeless, may have to be out of a car and have to take the bus to camp, have to get a ride from brother. But eventually Yahweh Bashim El Shai is gonna lift you up and be able to provide a stable job, a car, a place to stay at. But we have to endure those trials and tribulations, because ultimately they're all a test of Yahweh Bashim El Shai to see if you're going to bear the chastisement. Because majority of the world, when they're going through hell, they're going through trials and tribulations, they curse the Most High because they think that Yahweh Shemel Shai only does good, but no, he does both good and evil. And even us that are serving Yahweh Shemel Shai in truth and sincerity, he'll put us through certain situations, but then he'll balance it out with a good situation. But it's a balance to it. It's not going to be just catching hell 24/7. There's going to be a balance where your Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to send blessings to balance it out. This is Sirach chapter 11 and verse 14. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come from the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai. So all the riches, all the poverty that these people have gotten, it all came from Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's why all these celebrities, they love to thank who they ignorant call God, which a lot of them really are thanking Satan. But eventually it was really Yahweh Shemel Shai giving them all these riches, ultimately for a stumbling block. So when all hell breaks loose, the economic system collapses, they're gonna want these riches back but the only way to get their riches back is gonna be by the way of the Karagma. For us that are in the know, that know what this devil Esau Edom's plan is, that has given Jake all these millions, all these billions, all this fame, ultimately to have him destroyed, because he knows if he gives them all these millions, all these billions, then when the hour of temptation gets presented, they're gonna go down to these micro sea hipping stations to take that Karagma without hesitation. But ultimately it was all Yahweh Shemel Shai's will. Who gets put to death and who receives salvation, who receives all these riches and who receives poverty and homelessness, and who receives that perfect balance to be able to do the work, which are going to be his man of the Lord, his true servants, the prophets. This is Psalms chapter 37 verse 16. A little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked. So those who have just enough, which are going to be his servants, the prophets, to get by, to do the work and have the daily bread, is better than those who have gotten all these riches, all these millions, all these billions by deceit, by doing wickedness, by being moles, by doing witchcraft, which is all these celebrities, all these rappers, all these NFL players, these NBA players. They didn't get all those millions and billions dollar contracts by doing righteousness. No, they did it by doing wickedness. And ultimately, all that's going to get taken away in an instant. But us, during this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, we have the true riches, which are being stored in heaven, storing treasures up in heaven. And when all hell breaks loose, we're going to have the true riches, which is going to be the fear of Yahweh Shemel Shai, like it says in Isaiah 33 and 6. Knowledge and wisdom is going to be the stability of thy times. This is Proverbs chapter 11 verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. So all this money, all these billions or millions fame that these Jake celebrities, rappers, ball players have accumulated, it's not going to be able to deliver them when all hell breaks loose. It's not going to be able to deliver them from the missiles, from the lake of fire. The only thing that's going to be to deliver them is by repenting and turning back to Yahweh Shemel Shai, and Lord willing, be a part of that hopeful, be a part of that elect. But other than that, all these millions, these billions, gold and silver, jewelry, cars, mansions, they're not going to be able to deliver you when all hell breaks loose during the economical collapse. It's all going to be vain. It's not going to be able to save you. And that's something that all these Jake celebrities, these millionaires and billionaires that are set upon their riches to deliver them, it's going to be a stumbling block when all hell breaks loose and all their riches get taken in an instant. This is Luke chapter 6 and verse 24. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received consolation. Verse 25. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. So all these people who have gotten their consolation on this side, you know, all these wicked 2/3, these wicked Israelite camps that have made a merchandise out of the truth, that don't take this truth seriously, that mock the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that got the 501c3, they got the bag from Esau, Edom, they got their consolation on this side. But when it all gets taken away and Yahweh Bashim Yahushai comes out with that great wrath, then they're gonna be mourning and weeping for selling out, for not really serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in truth and sincerity. Because his true servants, the prophets, they're not going to be making a merchandise out of the truth. They're not going to be selling breakdowns and Passover tickets. You know, that's all madness. Making a merchandise out of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know, making a merchandise out of the Lord's house. That's madness, and that's going to come with a severe judgment. You know, because you're supposed to buy the truth and sell it not. But all these wicked Israelites have gotten the truth and made a merchandise out of it. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to come down with that great wrath for making a merchandise out of his house. This is Proverbs 11 and 28. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. So we're not going to trust in these worldly accolades to deliver us when all hell breaks loose. We're going to trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We're going to put our faith and trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to deliver us from the hell that's about to come upon the planet Earth. That's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai gave his true servant, the prophets, just enough to get by, to do the work. You know, they provide daily bread to get by day by day. So when all hell breaks loose, you know, we're going to be in that mindset already that whatever Yahweh Bashim Yahushai provides is going to be enough for the day. You know, when all hell breaks loose, you know, when there's famine, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai might have us just eat one time and be good throughout the whole Jacob's trouble, you know, till the missiles hit. Because ultimately that's the kind of faith that we have in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Unlike the 2/3 of the nation of Israel that have gotten their consolation on this side, they're not going to have their faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. They're going to have their faith in their riches and their bunkers and their firearms, and it's not going to be able to deliver them when all hell breaks loose. That's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has given his servant, the prophets, just the perfect balance of the daily needs. You know, raiment, food, shelter, water, just the perfect amount to be able to be built up in the faith, be built up in patience. You know, to be good when all hell breaks loose. You know, but that's pretty much the point. I pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all in this truth from the wealth. Peace, had a taste of the 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3. Large multitude.